But he said to them, "Don't be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He's been raised. He isn't here." Good morning. And happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Welcome to this service of worship. We're glad that you're with us. We have a few things that we want to note for you as we move forward. First, of course, bathrooms, in case some of y'all don't know, are through the door and just down the hall, so please avail yourself. We are in the process of renovating what used to be the men's restroom to be a handicap-accessible bathroom. So right now, it's kind of a one-user facility. Make sure you lock the door behind you. I've been warned. All right. So we, of course, are in the season of Easter, and so with that, we in the days that precede the day of Pentecost, the birthday of the church, we fall into this habit now that we've arrived. And that habit is acknowledging the risen Christ. And the way that we do that is we say, Christ is risen, and then you respond, the Lord is risen indeed, hallelujah. But you got to do it with some enthusiasm. You can't just say it like you rolled out of your pandemic bed this morning. And so, when I say it, I want to hear you respond, okay? Wow. Okay. Okay, here we go. Christ is risen.
The Lord is risen indeed.
Hallelujah. signs that as spring emerges and we reenter our lives, not just from the pandemic, but also from this season of Lent, where we look forward to the resurrection and now that it's here. And so, again, Christ is risen.
The Lord is risen indeed. Hallelujah.
You'll get there eventually. Okay. So I do want to say, as we've been making a habit of thank you, each week we are going to feature a different person or persons to thank. And this is not meant to be exhaustive by any stretch. People do all kinds of things that deserve our thanks, but then never get it, or should otherwise be acknowledged. But we don't want to avoid saying thank you to anyone just because we don't say thank you to everyone. And so with this in mind, this week, several folks, Benny and Patsy Covington, as well as Greg and Caroline Massey. Now, Benny and Patsy are lifelong members of our community who have worked through our history to preserve the dignity and history of our place. And they are faithful caretakers of our parlor as well as many of our people. Greg and Caroline have driven our audiovisual technology and have given voice to the contemporary worship instincts of our entire church. And so we appreciate them also. In addition to those folks, though, I do want to say a special thank you to everyone who helped make this day possible. We want to thank Toller, who rushed here from just after having made a video for a soccer game at his college. We want to thank, of course, Mandy and all the folks who assisted her in decorating the place. And thanks to all of you who, with your prayers, gathered them. And they're before you. I mean, this represents the prayers that we as a congregation sustain throughout the season of Lent. And so, again, thanks to everyone who made this day a possibility. Now, the worship symbol for this week is the sun. And the sun is an enduring image of the faithfulness of God, as well as the willingness of God's Spirit to give a new day. Not just in terms of time, but of our lives. And so the rising sun is the preeminent image of the resurrection. Now, with these things in mind, let us silence our devices, take a deep breath, and let us continue.
Join me in the call to worship. This day is like every other day.
Alarm clock speak, earth will renew, Hawfields Presbyterian, weary bodies stand alive.
And yet this day is like no other day.
The sun rose, and the beautiful miracle, the temple was empty, and you was alive.
So again and again we sing.
Long night is over, death has lost its sting, Jesus is among us. Hallelujah. Amen.
Again and again and again.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Were you there when he rose up from the grave? Were you there when he rose up from the grave? Oh, sometimes I feel like shouting glory, glory, glory. Were you there when he rose up from the grave?
Friends, have we been there that first Easter morning? It is likely that many of us would have been like the disciples, hiding out in fear, locked behind doors, alone with their thoughts in the upper room. I wish I could say that I would have gone with the wind, that I would have been brave and determined. I wish I could say that I would have held onto my faith, but the truth is, we'll never know. What I do know is that Jesus came back for all of us. Not the few who had maintained faith, or the few that stayed with him, for the cowardly and the greedy, for the women in the garden, and for the disciples hiding in the upper room. He came back for those who betrayed him and those who worshipped him. He came back for you and for me. So join me in the prayer of confession, knowing that no matter where we are on the spectrum of faith, Jesus lived, loved, and returned for us. Let us pray. Beloved community, before God and before you, my family, I confess. I have seen the sun rise and withheld my praise. I have seen my neighbor suffer and withheld my aid. I have seen love extended and chose to walk away. I have seen divisions deepen and managed to remain unfazed.
We hear you. We see you. You are forgiven. God's love is like the sun. No matter how lost we are in the night, day after day, the light will find you. Rest easy. You are held in God's warmth.
Thanks be to God. Amen.
Now we must pray. Beloved friend, before God and before each other, we confess. We have seen the sun rise and withheld our praise. We have seen our neighbors suffer and withheld our aid. We have seen love extended and chosen to walk away. We have seen divisions deepen and managed to remain unfazed.
I hear you. I see you. You are forgiven. God's love is like the sun. No matter how lost we are in the night, day after day, the light will find you. Rest easy. You are held in God's hand.
Thanks be to God. Hallelujah. Amen. So